Hey, you'll have to excuse the setup and how I look, but I thought I should film this because I got some new Glassware Studio glass. It's a double flared clear eyelet, tunnel, whatever, and I washed it with antibacterial soap, and I washed this with antibacterial soap, but this is my taper that I have used to stretch up to 12 millimeters in the past. This is 12 millimeters. It's not half an inch, it's not 12.7 millimeters, but it is 12. I accidentally stretched up to 12.7, which I mentioned in not my last video, but the one before that. And I'd wonder why it was hurting me and stuff so much, and that was why, because I accidentally stretched up another 0.7 millimeters, so that kind of hurt. But so you guys can watch me with this creepy taper. It's like great for the length, and then it's horrible right there. It's like a short distance, but I don't really have to deal with that now because I've used this like 3 or 4 times because I downsize a lot. I can't be patient enough to wait like 3 months between stretches. So from like 10 millimeters to 12, it was like a short amount of time, too short of amount of time. And I stretched up to 11 millimeters from 10 several times. And then I have taped up from 11 millimeters. So I had it at like 11.5 for a while. And then I went to 12 and then back down to 11 because I could only keep the 12 millimeter in for like a week because the pain was like, it was too uncomfortable. But yeah, my septum's still pretty sore. So I'm hoping that getting this new shorter eyelet in will be way more comfortable. But time will tell. And if it hurts too much, or like if it's too uncomfortable, then I'll just downsize again. Because I've noticed that when you downsize, I feel like you're giving your septum a break, and then also it is easier to stretch back up in the future. Like it's more malleable, or whatever you would say, like more pliable. Sounds gross, but it's the only way I can think to describe it. Like the first few times I did this, there was like no way in hell that I was gonna get it through. And I would just like play with it and like do this and stuff. And even now I've had it through several times. It's still, I don't want to like shove it through. Like I feel so bad for some of the people I've seen that went to piercers to have their septum stretched, because the piercer would just kind of like zoop right on through. And I'm like, how are you not getting a blowout from that? Like, so horrible. Sorry guys, like I have to be really patient with this because I don't want to fuck my shit up, to be technical. For any of you who've like stretched your ears, you may know what I'm talking about with this, but like you'll have one ear that like stretches better than the other one. Like you have kind of like a problem ear that like always causes a little bit more pain. or it's just like harder to stretch, like you have to go slower with it and like baby it more. My septum's kind of the same way. Like a lot of times it is easier for me to go from one side more than the other. So like if you do stretch your septum, you might try that. Try different sides and see which one like works better. I'm like honestly scared of hurting myself with this, even though I've done it so many times and it was fine. What sucks is when you're like, oh, that didn't even hurt, and then like you get the tunnel in there or the plug, and then you're like, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour in, and you're like, wow, really? And then it starts hurting or like throbbing. It's like so huge, like, look at that. This is 12 millimeters. That's so gross. It's like shoving a carrot through my nose. I apologize that I can't do editing stuff. Like, I wish I was better at that, but I don't know how to do like any editing. Like, even through the YouTube software stuff that they like supply, I don't know. The best I can do is like condense a video like on the edges. So, I don't know. I'm just like dumb about it. Otherwise, I would edit this and like add music and be cool, like most people who know how to do that stuff. Okay. I'm gonna have to make like another video after this one so I can tell you guys like my process, because I've gotten questions and I was like, I'm gonna just answer it in a movie or in a video. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to that yet because I've been having like crazy stressful things happening, and like I moved, but then I like slowly stretched back up. So I'm getting more stability in my life, so like I'll be able to explain or answer any questions you guys might have. Someone did ask me how long I waited between 10 millimeters and half an inch, and I would say it's confusing because like my cat like last summer in 2016, like June of 2016, I went from 8 millimeters to 10 millimeters, and like it was before, and I should have known but I didn't, like it was before I realized that there was like half sizes, and like you can buy customized sizes, so you can go from like 8 to 8.5 to 9 to 9.5 to 10. So I jumped from 8 to 10, and that was like the worst experience. Like I thought stretching from like 8 gauge to 6 gauge was my worst stretch ever, but 8 to 10 was the worst. And it's because I jumped 2 millimeters, and like you really shouldn't do that. Same with going from like 10 to 12. Like, do not do that. It's horrible. But yeah, so like I went like a month with a 10 millimeter plug in my nose and it sucked so bad. I finally took it out and downsized to 8 gauge or 8 millimeters, 0 gauge. This like hurts. Sorry I'm taking so long, but like, ugh. So like this ear sucked and this ear was better for stretching. And like this side going in sucks, but this side goes better for stretching. I don't get it. Alright, I'm gonna try to get that in and see if it works. It looks like it might be 12.7 millimeters and not 12, but I think it's 12. It's from Glassware Studios. Prepare to watch me get hurt right now. Like, part of the reason why I don't want to stretch up any bigger than 12 is like, my nostrils can barely deal with this, and like, look at that. Like, how goofy. Anyway. So yeah, I think 12 is probably as big as I can go. Like, I can't even believe that I've gotten this big. Seriously, like, it's crazy to me. I always thought 0 gauge was going to be my goal size. Because I honestly, like, thought that I couldn't go any bigger. I was like, my nose can't handle it any size that's bigger, like. But it's just because, like, I was using, like, for your ears. And so it's way longer. So push on the insides of my nostrils. And I'm like, this is so fucking uncomfortable. Like, but yeah, you can buy stuff like this. It's like 1/4 of an inch wide. This is double flare. And it's like made for septums, so the flare is really small, but it's still double flare. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to do it off camera. Like, I'm just gonna have to. It almost made it in, but I'm not gonna push it. I'm sorry, guys, but I will have this in like in maybe like 30 minutes. All right, talk to you later. Bye.